Jewel effect. So we're here at the Ring.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Episode 2.
Congratulations on season 2.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I am here with an amazing guest. I've been looking forward to this. I was like, is this going to happen? I don't know, but I hope so. So you may know him as a producer, a DJ, an executive, a teacher. I read about that. We'll get into that. Songwriter. Who's going to write this song with me?
Right.
Is that what you say?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Wait.
Sometimes.
Right? He comes with the vocals too. I heard it.
A little bit.
Yeah. Some of his credits include Meek Mill, Sean Smith, Papoose. Yeah. Earl St. Clair.
That's my guy.
Yeah. And my personal favorite, Jasmine Sullivan.
The queen. Yes.
Oh yeah, she's definitely the queen. You might have heard of some of his work on Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives.
Yep.
I just found that out recently.
Yep.
Yeah. What else you got going on? I saw a Savage Fenty.
Yes. Well, Ree. Shout out to Ree.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. That was a surprise. That was a surprise. Yes.
Right. So I'd like to introduce to you Grammy Award winning producer and genius Dan Dilemma Thomas.
Hey, come on. Hello world. What's up, y'all?
I'm really excited about this.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for pulling up. I know it was a crazy week, but we're making it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I feel like oddly calm. Sometimes in the very beginning of the interview, I'm like a little bit of nerves because I know like the cameras are rolling.
Right.
But then I just get into it. Like, I just have to, like, catch myself. But I feel calm right now.
Good.
So thank you for that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's, like, your voice or your demeanor, whatever it is.
The spirit's here. And,
That's right.
we just going to ride this thing out and ride the wave and ride the vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I'm ready for it.
let's get it.
So why Dilemma? So your name is Dan Thomas.
Yes.
Where'd you get the name Dilemma from?
Man, it's a kind of an embarrassing story. It's not even like super like, oh wow. When I first started making beats, I was actually in Twin Hills and I was selling my first batch of beats. I only had like 10. And at the time this artist came and he wanted to buy all 10 for like $50 a pop.
Wow.
And I'm like, I can't sell you my whole thing. I just started, And so he's like, but I like this one and I like this one. But then I like this one. But this one could be my single, and I got a real dilemma on my hands, bro. Like, and then he just kept saying it. He was like, you know what? I'm going to call you Dilemma. And I was like, all right, cool. So the whole rest of the summer, every time he called my phone, Dilemma. So Dilemma.
Whoa.
So Dilemma. So Dilemma. And I was like, my name is Dan, So I'm like, cool. My beats are a problem. I'm going to just keep it there.
That's not embarrassing at all.
But it wasn't like I came up with it. It was like someone kind of just kept calling me that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just ride with it, And so.
Whoever that artist was.
I don't even remember. But I just remember the person calling me and like just saying, Dilemma, what's up, Dilemma? And I'm like, bro, my name is not this. But it is now, so.
What if he never knew your name and was just like, I don't remember his name, but I'm going to just call him that.
That's a possibility, yo.
So did you sell him all those beats?
Eventually, I probably ended up doing. I know I didn't do it the first setting.
Okay.
And then I made more, and then he probably bought the rest of them.
So you was in Twin Hills.
I was in Twin Hills when
Shout
this
out
happened.
to Willenboro.
Yeah. Even though I'm from Windsor. I'm from Windsor and Country Club. But I think the beat process for me started in Twin Hills. Oddly enough, it started in Twin Hills.
It's a lot of talent that comes from there. So,
yeah,
that's awesome. Whoever that artist is, thank you.
Shout out to you, good brother. Thank you.
Maybe he'll see this one day and be like, that was me. That was me.
Yeah.
I call him Dilemma. So what's energy?
Oof, energy. Oof.
We gotta spell it because people ain't gonna be able to.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now he gonna give me the spelling. I'm trying to think of it. All right, is
INRGI.
INRGI. So energy is my kind of event my way of partying with folks, bringing all of the talents and everything that I bring to the table all in one setting. So you'll see me play the saxophone. You'll hear records that I produce, and I'll DJ. And it's a big party, and you just never know who might pop up. Artists might jump on the stage and do random songs from the studio, but it's a big party. So it's me DJing with horns, and it's a lot of energy. So energy. Yeah, energy. So it's fun. It's dope.
That sounds fun. So is it like something you do monthly or?
Well, before the pandemic, we were doing it quarterly.
Ooh.
And, we hit South by Southwest. We was doing it in New York, and it was fun. And we got a lot of great response. But the pandemic hit, and I had to kind of like slow stuff down. And, but now that we outside now and I'm in LA, I'm going to start bringing it back out.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're going to start in LA?
I think I'm going to start in LA.
You think they ready for that?
They better get ready.
When'd you move to LA?
I moved to LA last October.
Nice.
So I've been there for a year now.
How do you like it?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, I know.
There's certain parts that I like, and then it's only been a year. I think from everybody I've been talking to, they said like year 3, year 4, you'll start to get the vibe.
Right.
But the weather is amazing. I always start with that. The weather is great for your mental health.
Oh yeah.
The culture out there, as far as taking care of yourself, is very important.
Oh yeah.
It's a little different than in Philly and on the East Coast.
Everyone's always hiking and just outside and
every day. I hike every day now.
Really?
And, meditate and just pray and just climb mountains, and it's a vibe out there. And then I think the people is what gets, especially East Coasters, like we're very real and straight to the point. And out there, it's you never know.
Right.
You never know if you really bang with you or those type of people. So but it's cool.
We went out there for a couple interviews in like late April to May. I interviewed a couple people. Saeed, he's a songwriter, SR Soul. Maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the 4.
Yep.
Yeah, so I interviewed him.
Oh, dope.
Had a great time. But I get the whole LA. It was like, hey, you're supposed to meet up with people. They just really like lax. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, let's do it. So, but the weather is amazing. I had a really good time.
We call it the Tuesday, Saturday thing. So you'll say you'll meet on Tuesday, but they really mean Saturday. And you can't take it personal because that's just the way it is out there. Like, they kind of move kind of like how they move.
Yeah.
And on the East Coast, it's like, no, if we say 7 o'clock Tuesday, it's 7 o'clock Tuesday.
Exactly.
We about that time.
Yeah, latest might be like 8 o'clock on Tuesday, but we showing up. Yeah.
It's they move at a different speed out there.
So, it was crazy, because I was only there from like Friday to Monday. So after that, it was like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah. And I've been traveling back and forth for a while, for a couple of years. Living there is definitely a different experience, and I can see now how it's really out of sight, out of mind, because there's so much going on, and it's so fast out there, and there's so many people. You're meeting 20 new people every day, especially in the music industry.
That's right.
How you can kind of just get swept away into the thing, So it's important, if you're going to move out to LA, for anybody that's inspiring to move to LA, just to be very focused on what you're after. Be rooted, let it be rooted in something real, because there's tons of distractions out there. Absolutely. So I think right now in my career, it was a good time for me to move out there, because I know exactly what I'm looking for.
That was going to be one of my questions too, kind of like, at what point was it that you knew you needed to move out there? Because you have been on the East Coast, right? This whole time. So
it's it's one of those things that keeps reoccurring in your life, like signs. And I had a conversation with Cardiac years ago, and he was like, "What's up, man? When you coming out here?" And then that was the first thing, and I was like, "I'm chilling." You know what I mean? Right. I'm good. I'm happy. So then maybe I want to say 2016, the next sign was like, all right, you should move. And I was like, I think it was fair, to be honest with you. I think it was fair. I was fearful of just leaving this area, because I was doing good.
It was like a comfort zone.
Yeah, it was comfort. I knew everything. I knew how to hustle out here, like all of that stuff. So packing up and just getting thrown into a new thing was like, I wasn't really with that, you know? So I think once the pandemic hit, it was the third message. And I went out there with my artist, Diamond Jesse. We had a great time and everything was like running super smooth. And I was like, all right, we over here building artists, making records, and nobody's in LA. No, none of us, nobody on the team is in LA.
Right.
Something has to change. So right at maybe the end of 2020, me and my wife decided we was out.
Okay. So how was the transition? So you already had something going. How was it for your wife? Like, she was just like, I'm ready. Like, let's go.
I mean, she always wanted to roll, and you know, she kind of like, cool. I was already on that type of time too, so she was already applying, and you know, luckily she applied for a higher position at her job, and they said, okay, you either got to move to New York or LA. So when she came back to me and was like, yo, I was like, yeah, God is trying to talk to us. So
that was like the last sign. Like,
confirmation.
We out.
Yeah, we out. And so when you start to step out on a thing, God just makes a way for everything to kind of work in your favor. So we didn't understand certain things. We didn't know how certain things was going to work out, but we just started walking. And then this person came, and then this. Then we found somewhere to live, and then this happened, and this happened. So like I said, I wasn't going to listen to it. I wasn't going to ignore it the third time, because the first couple of times I'll be honest, I was afraid to kind of like make that jump. And but now it's like, cool. I'm glad now. I'm in the right mindset to take on what's going on.
That's right. So how has life been? So it's been almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe how life has changed since you've moved there? Professionally, I think I've gotten better with networking, and just being patient too. Just being patient. Nothing crazy has changed in a year, other than, you know, the Jasmine win and certain things. But what has changed? Of just how intentional I've been moving now, being extremely focused on what I'm after. I think that's the biggest thing. And then out there, you have to just be super intentional, because there's so many things you can get caught up in. So I think that's the biggest change for me within the year. It was like I was already kind of focused. I was focused here, but out there, it's like, all right, yeah, it's chess. You know, it's definitely a game of chess out there. It's just beautiful. So many people. Everybody's doing something. So it's like, all right, what's my focus? Let's do this. Yeah. I felt like that when I was only there for like 3 days. That wasn't my first time there, but it was my first time being there intentionally.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I gotta, you know, so it's like every hour counts. Like, all right, we here. All right, we could have a little bit of fun over here, but it's time, you know, to do this. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think I needed to hear that too.
Yeah, cool.
So,
cool.
A sign.
There it is. Come on, somebody.
Okay. So I want to like roll back just a little bit. So you mentioned playing a saxophone. And you were a part of band.
I was part of.
I heard through the grapevine you were like a in a band drum major.
Yeah, I was a drum major in the band.
That's awesome.
Shout
that's
out to
great.
the Willenboro Marching Band, Willenboro, Exit 5, Little Motown. Y'all already know.
Okay.
All it is.
I'm so proud. Yeah. So how'd you make your transition into production? I know you mentioned that you started making like those beats, but how did you really like grow into it?
It really was the beat battle scene for me. I started making beats as a hobby, and then at my day job, someone told me about these beat battles.
Okay.
And so I started going to New York to kind of just see what it was about.
That's cool.
So shout out to iStandard, and I would go to these beat battles and just hear other producers play their music, and I was like, you know, I'm just as good, if not better.
That's right.
So let me throw my head in the ring, and then I started winning beat battles. They brought it down to Philly, won those, and then just started networking. And then my song, in the networking, I met someone that took a beat CD and placed one of my beats off that CD in a movie. So that's kind of like my first check was
What
through the
movie
beat
was
battle.
it?
Oh, Waist Deep.
Oh,
Yeah.
2006.
2006. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a classic movie.
Yeah,
What
I know
what
it's
was that?
classic. Y'all, everybody be hating on it like it ain't
No,
a classic. This
that
is
was
like
with
Friday and Coming to America.
that was Tyrese in that,
Tyrese, The
right.
Game, Lorenz
Mhm.
Tate,
Who's
Megan
the male?
Good.
Megan Good. That's an easy classic.
Megan Good. We gotta say it again. Megan
Megan Good.
The
She still
queen.
look good.
Mm.
All right, let's move on. So that's awesome. So kind of like that was your first big break.
Yeah, that was the big
a
one.
big
That was
deal.
that was a big one. That was like, wow, my track is in a movie. We at the movie theaters.
That's
we
right.
turning up. You know, all my friends is there. I see my name in the credits, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is real crazy.
That's really, really
You know.
crazy.
And then from there, I just took it serious. I just was like, okay, how do we do this again? And, you know, of course, from that check, I just invested in myself, turned my parents' garage into a studio. So I was recording everybody in Willingboro. Didn't know how to, but I learned from recording everybody in Willingboro. And, you know, then the transition to Philly happened. And then started working with Meek and the Roots. And, you know, just at every level, just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And here we are.
That's great. So in those moments, right, where you got that big break and then you were able to invest in yourself, you might not, I don't know, you tell me, but maybe you didn't know exactly where this was going to take you next. What motivated you to every single day kind of get up and do it, like not knowing where it would lead you?
That's a good question. Back then, I don't know. I think it was just fun. And it was a hobby that I figured out how to make money with. I wasn't focused on breaking an artist intentionally, even though I was working with everybody local and was doing their whole projects. And so I was doing it for fun and was making money, and it just made me feel good, and it made other people feel good. And I wasn't out doing nothing crazy, like, you know, selling drugs or doing anything, going around having a bunch of babies. So my parents just kind of supported me in that. And it wasn't until I was like, all right, once I made the transition from Willingboro to Philly and was putting them like at Sigma, I was like, all right, now I got to stop playing. Like, how do I really get on these records? Right. How do I start following my greats? That's when I started studying the Carvins and the Ivans and the Dre and Vidals, and really studying the greats, and then trying to figure out how do I get to that level. So maybe around 2009 is when I started. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm not playing no more.
Right. Okay. So how many of the people who you would consider the greats or the icons or people that you've looked up to over the years, how many of them have you met?
Oof. I want to say almost everyone. Almost. Really? I think everyone except because I met Quincy. Yeah, I think I've met every single one.
Wow, that's awesome.
That super inspired
really awesome.
me. Yes.
Yeah.
I know Quincy, Just Blaze. Okay, so I haven't met Kanye and I haven't met Dre yet.
Okay.
But Quincy, Just Blaze was a super influence for me. You know, yeah, that's all I remember just listening to is just studying their stories and trying to figure out how do I get to where they're at. I met Jermaine. He's amazing. Yeah, so around that time, and Dre and Vidal and Carvin and I had a chance to work with them at Sigma and them being close to Philly, and during that time, like the neo soul wave and all of that, they're our legends. They're our guys.
Yeah,
you know, we are all fruits from their trees. If you're from this area, you got to be influenced by them, or you're lying to yourself. So meeting Carvin, seeing how down to earth he is, and Ivan, and then Dre and Vidal, they just made it seem like it was possible. Like now the dreams isn't that far away, especially coming from across the bridge. And then just growing up with the Cardiacs and the Mike Zombies and everything like that. It was just super inspiring. It's like, oh yeah, we all about to be lit out this joint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it a reality. Is it still fun?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, it's still fun. It's a lot of work, and when you make up your mind of what result you're after, then that's when it starts getting real. Because now, just getting to the playoffs isn't enough anymore. You want to come home with a chip.
That's right.
And then there's a certain amount of work that goes into that process. So just getting to the league, cool. Now you want to get to the playoffs.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now you want to get to, you know what I mean? Like everything is a different level. So where I'm at now and the result that I'm after, yeah, it's always going to be fun because it's what we love. But then it's kind of like, all right, let's get to work. You know what I mean? What's more fun? I think what's fun about it is the people that you can go on a ride with.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Than the actual result. Because I thought I was happy when I got one beat off. Then when I got 2 beats off. And then when I heard my song on the radio. And then when I got you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's really the thing? It's really the people that you can still say like, oh, I remember 22 Windsor Lane. You heard me make my first beat and we still cool and we still kick it in. We at the Grammys. So like when Adam Blackstone FaceTimes me at the Grammys when Jasmine won, he's the first person that FaceTime me. He's there. Like, bro, like, that means more. That's like a Grammy in itself. Absolutely. Just because we spent time together. And
you get to see the fruits of your labor and all the years and the work that you put in.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing. It's like you find the fun in that. The work is the work and the result will be the result.
Right. So do you have in your mind, like, the ultimate place is like, when I get here, then I know I've made it. This is the result that I've been working for my whole life, or, you know?
I feel like every result that you get, you want to create a new one because that's how humans
That's how
are.
I feel.
Yeah.
Yep.
So no, I don't. I know that my goal is to break an artist. My goal is to create Motown, like, of today.
Oh, yeah. With
The Ring and all the people that I'm working with, that ecosystem, like bring back Philadelphia International. What does that sound like today? Let the sound of South Jersey and this Philly area be at the top as it was early 2000s. So that's where my passion is. If I can leave a legacy, is being a part of creating a system that is just like rinse and repeat, like an assembly line. But what does that look like today? So that's what I don't know if that is that a destination, but we're working towards it.
Oh yeah, you'll get there. I think if you truly believe it in your mind, you see it, you have that vision, right? And you're focused, you just show up every day. Like, God's going to make a way. Absolutely. I remember it was this lady that I wrote for at the end of 2020. And she had nothing to do with music, but she was just associated with someone that I was doing work for. So I was on a short phone call with her, but it's something that's going to stick with me probably for the rest of my life. But she said, I don't want to mess it up, but she pretty much said that God does for those, like, you are in control of your own destiny, but God is going to do for those what they are willing to do for themselves, type of thing.
Right.
I feel like we get up, it's a lot of people that they pray, they want this to happen, that to happen, but they don't put in the work.
Yeah.
So as long as you're always working towards that goal, and we just talked about it, kind of like God is just gonna give you even more than what you could even imagine. So I'm ready to see it.
You got to focus on your effort. The result is going to come, but you got to really focus on your effort. So I don't think about where I'll end up or where I'm, like, is it this stop? Because I just know that, okay, that's just this stop. There's going to be another one. So, and I've just seen that, I thought I was happy. I can remember being happy when I got my first placement. And then the next morning it was like, all right, here we go. Let's go again.
What's next?
What's next? Yeah. So it's important just to focus on your effort and focus on the people that you're in the mud with. Because when it's all said and done and after the awards and after that's what is really going to matter. That's when you're going to really think about those times, those laughing in the studio and, all of that, all those little things is going to be what's really matters at the end of this all. You know, that phone call will stay with me. I don't even remember what was going on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just remember the phone call and just being like, my best friend is right there and he's FaceTiming me.
That's crazy.
Screaming. And I'm like, bro, you know, so.
We made it. We here.
We here now. Right.
That's good. So you've done TV.
Yes.
You've done film and you've done projects and worked on like developing artists. What do you prefer?
Oh, I'll always love making music and making beats. I think what do I love? I love it all, really. It kind of all goes into the same thing for me. I never was the one that was chasing a bunch of placements. It was always like finding an artist that has talent, creating that soundscape for that artist, and then seeing how that works in the marketplace. That's what I love. I love to see an artist take an idea from point A to point B and seeing how the crowd reacts to it. And just doing that over and over, you know, creating a real record that's kind of going to stick with people, you know. That's what I love. I love creating that moment that's like, whoa. Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
How about genres? Like, do you prefer a genre? I know
I'm a big jazz head.
Oh, yeah.
So that's always going to be number one for me.
Who's your favorite jazz artist? Do you have one?
Currently, like new? No. So, but I'm going to always say Cannonball Adderley. I'm going to say John Coltrane, Bill Evans, and then, of course, Miles Davis.
Miles Davis, yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me. Like, he's the one.
Oh, yeah.
He sets the tone.
What song? What's your favorite song from him?
Blue and Green. Blue and Green off of Kind of Blue.
I love jazz.
Yeah, that's what does it for me. That's my guy.
Nice. So moving into TV, because we didn't talk too much about that. You recently were on the credits of doing Martin reunion special, right? On BET Plus. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
We grew up on Martin, like watching that. How was that? How did that come about?
Oh man, it was amazing. I received a phone call from Adam, and he said, "Yo, they booked me to be the music supervisor of this TV show. Here's what I'm thinking. Can you pull this off?" And I said, "Of course, I got you." So he told me what he was looking for. He sent over, you know, an idea, and then I just went to work and just crossed my fingers.
How did that feel? Like knowing that this is like a classic TV show.
You can't have that pressure. You can't do that to
I know,
yourself. Like,
right. So you're good at that. Because me, I'll be like sitting in a room in the dark like, oh my gosh. I don't know.
It's one of those things that you don't look up at the mountain. You kind of just put one foot in front of the other. And I pride myself on my work ethic and the fact that I study so much. So if I set myself up, then it's the same dance moving forward. But I just know that, okay, I'm going to just do this and do this and trust my gauge. And hopefully they like it. And then, you know, a little bit of magic. And then God takes away. And then you get that phone call saying they're going to use it. You're like, wow. Okay. And, you know, I'm like, I'll be like, I think my friends and my wife and my family was more excited. Because for me, it's like, okay, cool. Here we go again. What's next?
What's next?
What's next? Yeah, like, what's next?
That might be the title of this episode. What's next?
What's next, yo?
I like cool. That. Because that's how I be feeling like, all right, what's next? Who's next? What we doing?
Yeah, because I don't, like, you heard my track. It's like, I did my part, you know. But big results, there's so many dominoes that need to fall for something to happen. So none of us can really walk into certain situations like we really did it all by ourselves. It's like, cool. There was God sat at that table. This person, you know, all of these things kind of played into that becoming a thing. So it just keeps you humble. And it's like, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm glad that they liked it. And, you know, we move on.
It's good. And you did Verses and Flow.
I did do Verses and Flow.
So for the people that don't know what that was exactly, can you give us a little explanation of it?
Was an amazing was like Def Poetry Jam or it was like Def Poetry Jam, right? And but for TV1, and poets came out on and they would just rock out, and so I did the theme song for that through to Adam. Calling me
Adam
and,
Blackstone.
Shout out to Adam, Emmy Award winning. So Adam called me, said, "Hey, this is what I'm working on. Do you got something?" So building that relationship over time and that trust of just knowing that you can call this person, he's going to deliver. Right. I think that's important too, so yeah, that's what happened.
Is there someone who in the early stages of your music career that really influenced you or who gave you like an opportunity that
so many.
Yeah.
So many people. The first person that came to mind is Carvin and Ivan. I think they were the first music people that I met. Like, went to a panel and heard them speak, and they was talking about music and the whole development of that. And I just remember Ivan years later giving me Logic and just saying like, "Here's Logic, learn Logic," and I'm like, okay. I was on Pro Tools at the time, and then just talks. Just I think coming up, we can kind of get stuck in the studio trying to get good, but not allowing ourselves to be taught or mentored or just getting jewels. So for the fact that they would take time out just to kind of give me gems and, hey, this is where I went left, where I should have went right, and I'm just taking it all in. It just helps, and it just kind of set me up to, tell the younger producers that are following me, this is my wins and my losses, But Carvin and Ivan, they're the first ones. Felicia Booker at Dynamic Producer, she was a big help in just like molding me mentally. And then just my team now, everybody on the ring, the Sean Penn, just everybody. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, I think right now the team and the people that I have around me inspire me a lot.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to know more about what the Ring is doing right now. I know that you're in LA, but obviously you're here right now working. So what's the Ring really about? And I also create results.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
Yeah.
So I want to know more about that.
Yeah, Crew, the Ring is what is it? It's like the second phase of Crew. So Crew was a collective of gentlemen that just wanted to work together, create results, and everybody wins. So we all knew each other individually, but it was like, yo, how don't we all work together? So it was just a conversation that was put together by Deshaun Penn, who, shout out to Deshaun Penn, we call him Nick Fury. And he went out and just got every Avenger and kind of like put us all in a room and just had a conversation. And our goal was to really just break artists, develop artists, break artists, and rinse and repeat, and create just a wave here, a current here, to let people know that, yo, there's a lot of amazing talent here, but also there's a music business here in Philadelphia as well. So the next phase of that was telling that to Carvin, and Carvin, liking the idea, and then that's when we formed the Ring and brought on so many other key players to just help fill those gaps. So now we have admin, we have a songwriting team, a production team, and I'm in LA, but it's just an expansion of what we're doing.
Because it's not stopping here.
It can't.
Exactly.
It can't. Like, if one thing the pandemic showed us is like you can still create remotely, so it's beautiful that I can not be here but still be here, and when they come out to LA, it's the same type of culture out there as well. So that's what the Ring is. I think our goal is to break artists and create Motown. Okay.
I'm excited. Even coming in here is just like a vibe. It's like, it smelled like first at first it smelled like good food, right?
Right.
But then you walk down this hall and it just smells like fresh and just it's professional and
Yeah.
it's clean. It's just like a really great vibe. And
Nice.
I'm familiar with Yant, so it was good to see like a familiar face here. So I think you guys are doing a really good thing.
Yeah.
I actually saw him last month. He was like, "Hey, I'm over here now," and
Yep.
so I got to be
Yant
here.
has been
it's so cool.
I forgot to mention Yant as an inspiration. Yant was the first person I ever played my beats for in Willenboro.
What?
Like he was like, you know, and still is like the god. And I just like, oh, if he could just hear me, you know what I mean? He need to know I'm in country club out here killing him.
Windsor Country Club.
I just pull up one day and knock on his door. He was like, sure, man, let me hear something. And don't know me from a can of paint. Listening to my first little beats and telling me what to do and all this, and I'll never forget that. And so years later, you know, same person. Now we're doing so many records together. It's incredible. So it's crazy, man. It's
like
so
a
much
full
time.
circle.
Yes, it's who you go with. It's who you go with. I think that's what this episode should be called. It's like, who's on the journey with you? .com.
I love it. So when we run that back, all right. That's it.
Because that's what
your world, your episode. Let's do it.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what matters, man. Because a lot of people won't. We call it the mountain climb, and unfortunately, while everybody's climbing to the top, people will die. That you think were super strong and really about it and really want to go with you. Nah. So it's really about who's really going to be climbing with you. Even when you start to slip, who going to grab you? Come on. Who you grab and point. It's really about who's with you, who's going with you. That's what it's about. And sometimes we don't really get to pick who that person is. It could be somebody that we once didn't like. But then while you turn left and they still there and you're like, all right. Well, it's us now, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the crazy thing. So I got into the music thinking that it was going to be kumbaya and I was just going to work with my friends. No, that wasn't the case for me. So the development of who I am as a person and just understanding what the big goal is, pushing, you know, that emotion or just getting in my own way. Of like, cool, bro. Like, you know, being humble, being a team player, understanding how to work with, all that is super important of just getting from point A to point B. And most don't even make that jump.
Not at all. That's like a lesson that I think I'm still learning as the year is like, you know, wrapping up. But the last couple years, just like people that you think are going to be with you for the rest of your life, you know.
Life happens. And, you know, some people just don't even do it, you know, they don't even do it maliciously. And, you know, it breaks your heart to kind of like, yo, this is where this train stops for us. I'm going to keep it moving.
That's right.
But, you know, we all have a purpose. And like I said, you just got to focus on your efforts. And if I'm running, I don't have time to look back. I'm about to catch who's in front of me, though.
That's right.
And they're going to be like, how you get up here? That's what it is, you know.
You keep turning back.
Yeah.
Keep turning back, you slowing yourself down, right?
Yeah.
At least that's
like,
how I felt.
So that's who I have around with me is folks that's just going to run with me. You know what I mean? And they know that I ain't waiting for them and they don't have to wait for me because I'm right there next to them.
That's right.
You know,
they know, they trust. That's why you keep getting them calls.
Yeah.
So your tags, right?
Yes.
Hello world.
That was the first tag. Yeah, that was the first tag.
So I love that tag. And then you also have Dilemma, You're a Genius. Right? What makes you a genius?
My mind. It's an ongoing joke. What makes me a genius? I heard a quote or a video from Jay-Z, and he said somebody was telling him he's a genius. And he was like, nah, the genius thing that we did was that we didn't stop. We didn't quit. When I saw that, it was like, bingo. That's what it is. And shout out to my homie, Iman Shumper. I was in the studio with him, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, and I was just cutting a bunch of
He's
music.
talented.
Super talented.
Yeah.
One of the best. Bars.
Right.
Super talented.
Right.
And I'm recording him, and he just says it right in the middle, right? Dilemma, you a genius. And I was like, wow, okay. So
like
years
that.
later, I was just like, oh, I might use that as my tag now. So it's just the phase 2 of who I am, you know, what I've learned over the years, being more intentional, being more result driven, and just focused. I think that's what it is. It's the way I process information and then act. That's what makes me a genius. I don't think about it the same way. I just don't rely just on my natural ability. I kind of really just double down on the thing.
And those efforts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we are all geniuses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
like, what do you do with all that you have in your
it?
mind? How you process all this information?
Yeah.
Are you executing?
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually have vision?
Right.
Because if you don't have vision, but you got talent or you got the skill,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You know?
And yeah, right. What are you going to do? Yeah, you know. So yeah, we all have been given gifts. Do we recognize those gifts, and are we doing everything we can to maximize that thing? So I've always processed things differently, and so now I'm just doing it in real time and just using music as the vehicle to kind of show that.
That's right.
So having vision, but then also being a closer on certain things, not just having a person that just has ideas, but taking our ideas and turning into an energy or a track meet or a crew or a ring or, you know, like whatever it is. It all starts with an idea, but then it's like, okay, well, who's going to walk this thing out?
That's right.
You know? So, and that from artists to anything.
Yeah. So I have a serious question, and
Okay.
I've been wanting to ask you this since I knew that we would be sitting together.
I'm nervous now.
No. How does it feel to be a Grammy Award winner? That's not
goodness.
that bad of a question. This is a great question.
How does it feel? It feels great. It feels good. It feels like a team win. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like we're all raising the thing, from Joe to Matt to Jasmine to Sam, everybody that was a part of that album. It felt great. Like literally when they announced it, I hit the Michael Jordan, like, we in there, you know. Me personally, I kind of stay even killed. Like I don't get too high. I'm still, you know, so it feels good though. You know, it feels like
good. Like, okay.
But now it's like, yeah, now we back at it.
What's next?
What's next? Right.
Yeah.
Now we back at it. And but it's a blessing. It's very grateful. I'm just happy for Jazz because you know, she's been wanting this for a very long time, and we was nominated for reality show, and I really thought that I was going to win. And
you wrote on Stupid Girl.
Yeah, we produced Stupid Girl.
You produced Stupid Girl. Okay.
And If You Dare.
And If You Dare, right?
Yeah. And so we thought we was going to win, and you know, we came up a little short because of D'Angelo. And so when Hotels was nominated, we were like, cool. Felt this before. But throughout the year, the album was just getting so much love. He was like, maybe you know, maybe this might be the year. And when they called her name, I really just thought about Joe, her engineer, and just was like, yo, bro, like all those conversations that we had, the journey still.
That's
like,
right.
And just as happy for everybody involved. It wasn't even about me. It was just like, yo, this is crazy. The squad.
The team,
yo, like the squad got one. Yo, we got one. And so that's what makes me happy more than anything else. It's not a personal thing, but I just remember all of those lonely sessions of us just nobody caring what we're doing and, you know, submitting stuff and like, wait, what?
And you guys had to be doing this during like the pandemic. Yeah. So it was a lot of time where it might have just been you or it might have just been a couple people, right?
A lot of it was through email and FaceTime, like, hey, here's what I did. Check your email.
Right.
Add something to this and send it back. It was a lot of that. And so you just never knew what was going to work and what wasn't because you're not in the studio with folks. So that's why it's so important for me, because it was a team win, because it was so homegrown.
Right.
you know.
Yeah. So I want to tell you something, and I don't really tell that many. Well, a lot of people know who really know me personally, but my favorite artist is Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh, wow.
Right? Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So going back to 2007, 2008, I was around like U Arts and she was performing. And that was my first time I ever saw her like perform live. Just had goosebumps the entire time.
Yeah.
Right? And then 2008, that fall, I ended up going to school, went to Rutgers. And I always had older sisters, right? So I never really had to buy a CD because they always bought it. They were always like older. So I always just listened to the music that they always got. But now I was on my own. You know, I was away from home. My sisters were wherever they were. And my first CD I ever bought was Fearless.
Yep.
Jasmine Sullivan.
Classic.
So I put so many people on to her. Like now she's like, you know, she is who she is. She's the queen.
Great,
right? But before, not everybody might have known about her 14, 15 years ago. People did. Like, I mean, she had Need You Bad and Lions, Tigers, and Bears and all of Bust Your Windows, big songs. But who she is now and like how she's persevered through time, it's like
whole different monster.
Exactly.
Like
exactly. So to, you know, to sit down with you and know that you took part in The Other Side, that's my song. I'll be playing that driving the car. Like, I'm going to move to Atlanta.
Right.
I'm going to find me a rapper.
Yep. And then what? Yeah.
I love her. I love her music. Hotels was like, I don't know. It might have been her best, and a lot of women were able to relate to it.
Yes.
Then she came out with Hotels, Motels.
Yeah.
And then that whole extra part of it was like, wow, you got more?
Yeah.
So that's so cool, though.
Thank you.
Dang, you was on that.
Listen, I don't know why they put me as a writer. I helped with the music.
I get you.
Jasmine is the writer. Okay.
Like she's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm a writer of the music. That's what it is. They put me as a writer.
Of the music. Yeah. Hey, you were in it. You did.
I was
your
there.
Part.
I did my part. I did my part. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, we talked about the ring and crew. You know, create results. Everyone wins.
Yep.
You have all these things going on. So what's next for you? What's next? It keeps coming up.
What's next for me?
Yeah. I do have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So Dom and Jesse.
Yeah,
let's talk
guys.
about let's talk about them.
Let's talk about my guys.
Yeah.
Dom and Jesse, two amazing artists. They're a group. The yin and yang, the up and down, the left and right. But a good time. Summer all year is their slogan. Summer all year. And I love working with them. Very great artists, hard workers, and they're the best. Like, I just believe in them. They're the best, and I enjoy working with them, and they're fearless. There's nothing no obstacle. If I need them to come to LA, they're there. If I need to go to Atlanta, they're there. And so I met Dom and Jesse. It was funny. Deshaun Penn and Range introduced me to Dom and Jesse, and at first I wasn't like in love with them. I was like, oh, I'm done, you know, with artists.
Pop?
They do pop.
I love pop. Yeah. Okay.
So they're kind of like if you had a pot and you put Shawn Mendes, Ed Sheeran, Charlie Puth, a little bit of Hall & Oates.
I love Charlie.
You know, cheat codes, and that's Dom and Jesse. You know what I mean? So they do a lot R&B pop. And like I said, when I met them, I was like, I don't want to work with another artist. But everywhere I DJ, they would pop up and like shoot content and always say what's up and buy me a drink. And I'm like, who are these kids?
They had their eye on you.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna work with them just because they're kind, and I bang with them as people first. And we just been rocking and just been getting better and better. And they got a nice little experience in the Dom and Jesse world. So if you're not tuned in, please tune into Dom and Jesse.
Oh yeah.
And have a good time. It's always a good time with them.
It's good. So you're on like the developing side of
yes.
them.
Yeah.
I read that you used to teach, or you still do, at what is it, the Village of Arts and Humanities Center?
In Philly,
yeah. So now that you were, you relocated to LA, is that something that's still in your plans to just give back to the kids?
I'm still teaching.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just doing it through the computer now. So
I love that.
yeah, so I teach at the Village of Arts and Humanities, and I teach music production to high school students, and just kind of give them the information that was given to me about how real the music industry is, and what for women, for guys, for everybody. And it's enjoyable, it's rewarding. It keeps me balanced, because they all like, we don't know you, Mr. Dilemma. Like Mr. Dilemma is what they say.
That's what they call you,
yeah,
Mr. Dilemma.
Mr. Dilemma. And then but it's cool to see, they can see someone in the industry in real time. So I can teach them on Monday, but then be in the studio with such and such, and then post it and be like, oh, our teacher's right now in real time. So that's cool. So, and I enjoy them. And there's a lot of great students that come out of Philly, and one of the students that I did teach and now is a writer on the Ring is Heem Fu Kwan. And I met him when he was 14 and just saw that he was such a great talent, and then now he's 20 and just a crazy writer. And
that relationship.
So it's who you go with. All that's important. So I also just like teaching that for that reason as well, is just to see who's the next Rihanna, her, Doja that's coming up. Because if you study any of the greats, that's when they were found, when they were 12, 14, 15 years old. So I also like teaching because of that.
That's beautiful. That's so awesome. I feel like a lot of times, especially when we get to a certain space, or we might become busy with like our work, we forget that these are the people that's next. These are the people that's looking up to us.
And to keep the thing going.
Exactly. So if they know all this information that you learned from Carvin and all these people, and you're taking it down, it's just going to make them so much better. And
that's the goal. That's the goal.
What do you do for fun besides work?
Work or nothing.
Just
I travel. I like to travel. That's one thing. I think I make music to travel, and I travel to make music. I think that's the thing. But my wife keeps me busy, and just helping her take over the world.
That's right. She's an author, right?
She's an author. Yeah. So
Good Morning Love is her book.
Good Morning Love is her book. And it's doing really well, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that it'll turn into a short series one day. But it's an amazing book. It's a little bit about us, a little bit. But our first record, because my wife is a songwriter when we met, the first record that we ever did was called Good Morning Love. And so the very first record. And so I thought that was cool that she named it that. But it's doing great. And what else I do for fun? Hikes, trips.
I mean,
I'm
that's
real
enough.
simple. I'm real simple. Like,
that's good.
I'm real simple, and so put me on a plane or a boat somewhere, I'm straight.
Do you like the islands? You like to travel to
islands.
Yeah, me too. That's like my favorite place.
My family got me into. My parents travel a lot, so that's where the bug came from.
Yeah,
like my parents is
did
always.
They start to take you as you were like? That's what my mom did to me too.
Yeah,
she started she got us our passports when we were like teenagers.
Oh wow!
And just started taking us like every summer. So I got to go to Jamaica, Bahamas, like wherever, It
keeps it just does something to you to see the world in that way. You know, especially from a young age. I don't think I could ever get comfortable in one spot too long. Right. Or, because I just seen too much.
And you see the way other people live, and we might have so much more than they have, but they have way more gratitude and just they're happier and less stressed. And it just makes you see things a little bit differently.
Yeah. What's really peace and what's really happiness. You know what I mean? Getting it explained in different forms, So traveling does that, getting that certain energy, getting that culture in you is important. So that's what I do for fun.
That's good. That sounds like good fun to me. That's good. And you need to balance that fun and work.
Yeah.
So when you come back, you're like, I'm ready. What's next?
Yeah.
So I asked everyone
What's up?
to drop a jewel. I'm
Drop a
Jalen
jewel.
Jewel.
Okay.
So you've had so many people along the way drop these jewels, drop these gems on you, and you know you've had them in your mind, and it's made you who you are. It's guided you. I saw that you read The Alchemist.
Yes.
So your legend has been a part of that.
Yes.
So can you drop a jewel, and you can look in that camera right there. Drop a jewel for your students, to anyone watching. You know how Dom and Jesse, they were scoping you out and, you know, watching you. So anybody who's watching this interview.
They was smart. They was very smart.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
They were smart. They got to me.
Oh, yeah. So drop a jewel.
Drop a jewel. Do I have to say it? Like, here's the jewel of the day or something?
Whatever you want to do. You could just say right then and there, whatever it is.
Here's my jewel. Focus on your effort and the results will come. Be extremely intentional about what you want. And study the greats and reverse engineer their result from the beginning. That's what I believe.
That's perfect. That was great. So this is episode 2.
Yeah.
Of season 2.
Yeah.
With Dan Dilemma Thomas.
Hello, world.
Hello, world.
Yeah.
Dilemma, you a genius.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. And
Thank
we
you.
out.
1 2 1 2. It's your boy Dilemma. We are here at the Ring, the Jewel Effect, season 2, episode 2, with your boy. Get a notebook out, take some notes, learn something.
The Jewel Effect.